Good evening, everyone. This is Matt from Umbrella 73. I'm going to give you a short video with my thoughts on Saturday night's main event from last night, which I believe was the 13th of December. I could be wrong about the date, but it was obviously Saturday evening. And this is the event with John Cena's last match. So, by the way, my health is okay. I'm doing okay, just working on stuff. Anyway, thank you for any prayers you guys have given me. Any contributions to the GoFundMe as well. Thank you very much. So 4 matches. There were rumors and our predictions along with that they would open with the Cena match, and I don't know if they swerved away from that or rethought their logic, but we all thought the Cena match would open so they could have a long like celebration on the PLE. Which they did at the end, but it was shorter than it seemed. So that being said, they opened with Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes. This was the future ruler of the WWE, Obafemi, who is the next big deal. Like, if they don't mess it up, if they don't mess up with injury or how they messed up with Finn Balor, how they messed it up with any number of other guys, Samoa Joe, any number of other Shinsuke Nakamura, any number of other guys who come in with a reputation, with all the skills, who should have been in the next big thing, and they just blew it. If they don't mess it up, Oba is not only the next big thing for the next 5 years, he may be the next all-time great. The guy has the charisma, the size, the in-ring skills. He's a clean worker. He's a safe worker. He knows how to put other guys over. He knows how to get himself over. He has decent short duration promo skills. Okay on the mid-range, the mid-length promos. I've never seen him on a long promo, a 10 or 15-minute back and forth type of thing, but that's for the long term. So anyway, against Cody Rhodes. Now, going into this, they were never going to book this so that Cody or Oba looked weak, okay? Which means many of us suggested that one of two things were going to happen. Least likely would have been something like a double swerve where, because Oba's a heel and Cody's a face right now, where Cody goes heel and loses, because heels can lose and not, because heels are supposed to lose. Remember that. That's one way they could have went with it. Another way, which what they did, was outside interference. Now, the problem was it was just Drew McIntyre running into the ring and beating up Cody Rhodes, and Oba beating up Drew McIntyre, and Cody and Oba doing a respect each other, shake it off. And that was a horrible way to end that match, which was the theme of the night in a sense for what happened later as a John Cena match. Otherwise, this was a good match. Cody and Oba showed well. They played to each other's strengths, where Oba is a power wrestler with agility, and Cody is agility, speed, and like a little bit of power, but mostly agility and speed. They had a good program. Okay, so there's that. Oh, we got the chat. Let's see here. Nosferatu is out there. Hey, Nosferatu, how you doing, my friend? On the phone, the chat's very tiny, so I don't always notice it. Yeah, Cena had a goofy gimmick. He had a very goofy gimmick in that for a large part of his career, in limited exposure, it worked. But when he became one of the top guys, and he would never do the heel turns that other guys had to do, then it stopped working because you get tired of it. When you get tired of a wrestler's gimmick, they have to change it. They have to heel and face swap, or the fans will stop watching. Now, hey JV, yeah, like I said, the chat is very tiny on the right side of the phone. Let's see if I go portrait, if it'll make it. Oh yeah, the chat. For those of you who do StreamYard from your phone, portrait is much easier to see the chat. So anyway, I'll get some thoughts about Cena when I get to the last match. Let me finish up with the I did not like the way the Obafemi match ended. Um, it just they should have. Yes, you could have had outside interference ended, but they did it wrong. Okay, so on to the next match, which was Sol Ruka versus Bailey. If you listen to our when our book live thoughts right after the event on JV's channel, okay, um, this was again a very agile wrestler versus a wrestler whose basis is sort of power moves. You know, it's hard to say on the female side, but essentially, Sol Ruka is a high flyer is the wrong term. Her moveset's based around agility and hitting complex spot stuff. And for that to work, she needs a partner that can do what's called posting up. Okay. Now Bailey's good at that. She's not great at that. So you can see Sol is moving slower than she usually does. Okay. Yeah, you're right about that about Jericho. Again, we got to reinvent that gimmick to keep relevant. So Bailey, it was a kind of a mismatch in terms of wrestling style. As you can see, Sol, if you've seen Sol's previous matches, she was clearly moving in slow motion compared to what she did in the past. I'm not sure who would have been the better partner if I have this coming out party with, and we can debate that, in the future. But this was a good match, very enjoyable. The right person won the match, which Sol won. Chippy Soul Facer. She has some great moves, this woman. They just should bring her up because she's ready for it. The next match was the match of the show, and here's the big mess up they did. This match was not long enough. Well, she calls up a high flyer, but she's more like she's not like when I think of high flyers, I think of like Dragon Lee from this match coming up, for example, or Javon Evans or whatever. They or if you go back, Super Crazy, Soul is more like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Kind of like when the Undertaker does old school. RVD, yeah. When she sets up these beautiful spots from the top row, but she doesn't like hit you with 7 of them in a row. She'll wrestle in the ring and set up a spot and go for it. Whereas high flyers would go one move after another, top rope, flying reverse moonsaults, and all crazy stuff, Anyway, this match was a tag match between Dragon Lee and AJ Styles versus Javon Edwards and what's the other guy's name? 2 young kids. Don't remember his name right now. Their combined age is less than AJ Styles' age. It's crazy. And this thing was like a off from the get go. Yeah, that's what I was about to say, JV. It felt like this tag match was supposed to be longer, and because it was shorter, they basically tried to get all the big highlight spots in. Now, a lot of people have been saying that Styles missed that a phenomenal forum. I don't know about that because AJ is good enough to fake a missed move. And a guy in the context of storytelling in the ring, guys occasionally missing moves on purpose adds a sense of realism to it, So I'm not ready to say AJ botched that final forearm because it did add a sense of realism and all that to the match. Though, like I said, the match did feel rushed, So, and then we get to the last match, which was John Cena versus Gunther. Now, I'll say this much. Was Gunther the right guy for this match? No. He was a guy for whom this opportunity, he's worthy of the opportunity, right? To get the bump from being Cena and Cena's last match. But it really should have gone to someone younger. But I think the reason they chose Gunther is because Gunther, Leon Slater. I gotta remember. I wanted to say Heath Slater for some reason, JB. But the one thing I think one of the reasons Gunther was chosen for this is because he is an absolute professional in the ring. When he knows his mission is to put another guy over, and believe me, Cena needed help. Okay, uh, he'll do it. He can make anyone look good. Almost anyone look good in the ring. Um, he's a clean and safe worker. You know, he knows how to tell a story. He knows how to play whatever role he's playing in that ring. Okay, Nosferatu. Merry Christmas. I don't see you again. So I think that was one of the main reasons Gunther was in this match. Okay, not just for him to get the bump for Cena with retirement. Now, ideally, the bump. I mean, honestly, for me, I would have tried to give Oba the bump, but that's a whole separate issue. Especially, so to the match itself, the first half of the match, I would rate it as a 7 out of 10. Then the next 25% of the match, I'd say is like a 9 out of 10. It elevated it a little bit before it got to the murky part at the end. Now, I do not think John Cena giving up and quitting in his last match is because of the tournament, JV. In other words, once he was in the tournament, we knew it was going to be him. But there are other guys on the roster, not for the bump. Not for the sake of the bump, who got the bump of Cena's final match, for the sake of what he had to do in the ring. There's maybe a couple other guys. AJ Styles could have been that guy, but he's too old. But, like in terms of carrying Cena through that match in a way, there will be no botches, there will be no injuries, there will be no, making Cena look bad by accident. There's very few guys who are at the highest level that Gunther is at, or AJ is at, or even Shinsuke Nakamura, the guys who aren't going to make a mistake in a critical moment, that combined with Gunther being in his 30s works out to give him the bump, Now, so we get to the last 25% of the match where Cena tapped out. That was wrong. I could have seen him go with Cena passing out in the career, but I dislike Cena tapping out, and a lot of people did that, and the crowd did not like it. The crowd was clearly upset that Cena tapped out. Clearly upset. There was a bit of a chance of bullshit going on. Triple H got the shit boot out of him, which I think was more than just tonight. I think it was other events going on throughout the year. Fans have been upset with him, especially the second half of the year. Now, as to the celebration, and guys, I'm trying not to do a 25-minute video here. I just want to do a brief thoughts on it, and we'll go to on Wednesday at Overbooked this Wednesday, our end of the year show. We'll talk about, probably spend up to JV. That's why we spent 10 to 15 minutes talking about this particular night event, right? But the after event with the celebration, I thought I saw Shane somewhere in the crowd. I don't, but I can't confirm that. We know Stephanie was there. I will have to see, but I will bet my bottom dollar that Vince was healthy. He was somewhere in the back. Okay. Oh yeah, we know it was John's call. I thought we were going to save that for the show. That was all John's call. Everything happened in that match was John Cena's call. People need to understand that. Okay. Even if Triple H dictated something different, as soon as they were in the ring, Cena's going to say to Gunther and the ref, "It's going down this way," and that's the way it was going to go down. So Gunther gets a bunch of heel heat for basically choking out John Cena. Which is fine. I'm not complaining about that. In the aftermath, we saw Haku, which I was happy about. By the way, back in the day when Haku was wrestling, let's say the 80s, early 90s, when he stood in the ring, he made most other wrestlers look tiny. Okay. Yeah, so I thought it was Shane. So Vince is confirmed out there that his health must have been too really bad, because There have been rumors Vince has not been doing well physically for the past couple of 6 months or so. Because for something like this, he would have tried to at least be behind the scenes. And they probably would have been okay with him for that. But anyway, when Haku was in the ring with guys, he made them look tiny back in the day. Now, when all the wrestlers were standing around, the modern wrestlers, look at the size, the average size of the wrestler has increased so much that Haku looks more like a normal person. And I've seen Haku in real life. Okay, I was almost 6 feet tall before I started shrinking. I looked up to that guy. He was big, like 6'2" ish, 6'3", but big, like chunky big, not chunky fat, but like clearly this dude had power big, Yeah, that's such an evolution of wrestling. Now the average height is like 6'4" or some crazy number like that. But it was nice having all those people out there. The Cena, some old connections, that was cool. Yep, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Wednesday. For this Wednesday, will be our final show for the year. We'll be doing some post Saturday Night's Main Event commentary, plus our year-end stuff and all that. Yeah, yeah, Gunther. I've been watching Gunther since he was Walter for quite a few years. He was always professional, and I'm surprised it took WWE that long to get him in. Then again, it's Vince. Vince does not like guys back then. Hates guys who he has not developed. Which made AJ Styles going straight to the WWE, not going to NXT, shocking. Back then. But anyway, and my final thoughts on the event. I mean, everything but the matches was very well done. Production, except for my normal pet peeve, okay, which is the camera work and the directors. They did really well in Sol Ruka versus Bailey. But in all the three other matches, there were camera angles that showed the inside work on a wrestling move, where maybe a kick to the face that hit the face or whatever, So they need to work on that for next year. For the next year, to get better camera work and better director work. And where do these go from here? Oba's first big top program will probably be with, I'm going to say, Drew McIntyre. I've been predicting since before last year that Oba's first showing is going to be going first in the Royal Rumble, doing a lot of damage, and winning it. Now, I think JV will say Oba is going to agree with half of that, but I don't think he'll agree with winning it. But we'll see when we get there. So next time you see Oba family on the big league roster, should be the Royal Rumble. So Ruka will probably be premiering the Women's Royal Rumble. Javon Edwards is going to be probably down in NXT for another few months minimum. He's very young. There's no reason he and Slater have to come up anytime soon. Let them work down there. I also see this heading into retirement. I wonder if they're going to do a Monday Night Raw retirement ceremony for him at some point, where he walks into Raw, gets cheered, has the big party and everything. Probably next year they'll do that. Gunther probably back in the hunt for one of the titles. And what else we got? Cody, I don't know. Cody bores me right now. Okay, well, that's it. That's all. I just wanted to give my thoughts. It went longer than I thought. Thank you all for joining my show. I appreciate it. I'm going to knock off here and let you all return to your regularly scheduled Sunday evening. Thank you for listening.